Welcome to my guide for stats in Lost Ark. This guide will serve two purposes. Firstly, it will allow you to make the best build possible for the class or classes of your choosing. And secondly, you will be able to sell gear on the auction house when you know what stats sell for which classes when combined with the correct engravings. I have another guide coming on engravings very soon, so make sure you hit subscribe and notifications and all that stuff. But other than that, let's get into it. Let's get lost in the world of Lost Ark. The game breaks down stats into two broad groups. One is basic stats and the other is combat stats. Basic stats are your main stats, so in this game that is either strength, dex or intelligence, depending on your class. Then you've got physical defense, magic defense and vitality, and they are your basic stats as the game likes to call them. These stats either serve to boost your damage with your main stat of strength, dexterity or intelligence, or increase your ability to stay alive via the main stat of vitality, and then via physical defense and magic defense. Physical defense and magic defense are found only on your armor. Vitality and your main stat are found on your armor as well as your accessories. In this game, accessories are your rings, jewelry, earrings, necklaces, as well as your ability stone, and they're on the right hand side of the character screen. Combat stats are a touch more complicated and we'll break each one down individually in a minute. Just to avoid any confusion though, the names of the stats are slightly different in the Korean and Russian versions than they are on the EU and NA version. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use both terminologies, just so if you do read any of the guides or you're a bit confused as to why some words are used here that are not used there, I'll just basically get rid of that confusion for you. Okay, so these stats are agility aka swiftness, crit, specialization, domination aka subdue, endurance, and then finally proficiency aka expertise. Before breaking down what each of these stats do, let me just break it down very simply and make it nice and easy for you now. The best stats in this game are for PvE, swiftness, crit and specialization; for PvP, swiftness, crit and domination. Now generally speaking, you can and will focus on two of those stats dependent on class. So what do each of these stats do, and why are those stats mentioned above the best? Well, let's break them down. In the case of swiftness, it's pretty straightforward. Lost Ark is a game about dodging damage, spacing and doing damage if you're a damage dealer. The game has no tank class. You are either a DPS or a support, and swiftness also increases attack speed. We all know by now attack speed is a massively important stat and always will be. And on top of that, if that wasn't enough, swiftness also decreases skill cooldown. All round is just a superb stat. Domination. Domination is the damage you deal to disabled enemies, whether they are staggered, stunned or debuffed. This is a huge stat in PvP, as PvP in Lost Ark is all about stunning and baiting out the opponent's stuns, then hitting your damage. Thus, classes that nuke will want domination, as it allows their nukes to hit even harder when the enemy is crowd controlled, and will be a further explanation of how PvP works in Lost Ark coming very soon on the channel. Crit is, it's crit. Everybody wants crit. My brother called his first child crit. Everybody wants crit, man. By the way, this only affects crit rate, not crit damage. That's important to know. It's still a massively important stat. Specialization. Specialization improves special ability effectiveness, which is on your Z key. Resource recovery and awakening skill damage. This depends on class in PvE, whether or not you should take it. If your class relies on a low cooldown ultimate ability, this is the way to go. Endurance. Endurance is a defensive stat that increases armor, shields and health. There are some builds with the bard that make use of this stat, but generally it is ignored. Expertise or proficiency. Expertise increases the durations of debuffs that you cast and increases the duration on staggered enemies. Again, rarely used. I will make a video that will go into stats and engraving combos so you can make gold quickly in Lost Ark. Look out for that video, but to summarize, for PvE, crit, swiftness, specialization; PvP, crit, swiftness and subdue. Don't worry about these stats early on in the game. Once you start getting to the end game content and you want to min-max your character, this is what you need to be looking at. Keep an eye out for the items that improve your character, or keep an eye out for items that will make you some nice gold. That's a simple breakdown of the basic and combat stats in Lost Ark. I hope it was easy enough for you to follow and explain it. Any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. Take care. Thanks for watching. Can't wait less than 3 weeks till release. Take care.